name is Brad McDonald. I'm fighting out of Modesto, California, and I train with the Last Stand Fight Team.
Arciniega, fighting out of Pacific Martial Arts, Fresno, California.
I claim myself as a stand-up fighter. I like to stand up and throw punches.
I like to strike, but I'm also known for my submissions. So my style is a freestyle. I'm comfortable wherever the fight goes.
My game plan is the same through every fight. Stand up and bang, so you can fall first. But I see Art try to shoot in the whole time. That's how I look at the fight. Him shooting in, trying to take me down, hold me down for a boring decision, me trying to stand up, make it exciting. I
actually trained with him for a few years a while back. He's a tough guy. I'm actually looking forward to this fight. So I'm excited. I'm just going to go out there and have a good time. There's no pressure on me. I've already proven that I can beat tough guys. He's the one that has to prove something.
Arciniega is coming off a May win over Sergio Cortez that brought him back into mixed martial arts for the first time after a year away from active competition. He earned that TPF 13 win by unanimous decision. He has a 4-fight win streak since losing to the UFC featherweight title contender in Chad Mendes here at Tachi in 2009. He looks to get an impressive victory tonight over Brad McDonald to try to spoil McDonald's return here to Tachi and force himself into the conversation of when is this guy going to get a call to the big show.
I mean, Arciniega, he's an interesting guy. And I mean, he's been toiling out here for a long time. He's fought at Tachi Palace for years. And at some point, he basically just said, I'm pretty good at this. I'm 30 now. Why aren't I making it? Switched up his team, switched up his management, started taking MMA more seriously, dedicated himself harder to it. We'll see whether or not it pays off in dividends in getting the win over Brad McDonald. It would easily be the biggest win for him to date. Like we've mentioned off the top, though, it's going to be a tough stylistic matchup for him. He has to get in, get Brad McDonald to the ground, and try to look for submissions. He's an okay stand-up fighter, but Brad McDonald is definitely more aggressive, more powerful, more well-rounded with his strikes. Arciniega has to be crafty, try to get him on the ground, and look for a submission.
Brad McDonald, a very aggressive fighter. Arciniega is going to have to make sure he is calculated and doesn't get caught early. McDonald's going to be in his face from the opening bell.
Arciniega said that they trained before. It's very interesting to me to see how that training session went. These guys know each other. Sometimes when you're that comfortable, there's no need to have a feeling out period. You can just kind of go after the guy. You kind of know what to expect. You know his strengths. You know his weaknesses. So sometimes they produce super exciting fights when they've trained before.
Arciniega enters the Tachi Palace Fights 14 cage tonight here in Lemoore, California. Brad McDonald, 10-2, fighting out of Oakdale, California. The last time we saw him here at Tachi was a disappointing performance for Bad Brad. He lost to Francisco Rivera via knockout. The win actually helped Cisco get his way back into the UFC's octagon. McDonald took that loss in stride, though, as he came back last June to show off his power, knocking out Vayman Dennis with a punch in the WFC. He is the younger brother of the UFC's Michael McDonald. Bad Brad looks to establish himself as more than a younger brother of a UFC fighter and try to become a UFC fighter himself.
We talked about it tonight. We are a little aggressive in always expecting any person, any kind of brother tandem to go on and prosper immediately. But Brad McDonald is someone who, at the very least, even though he's faltered, you can see what the errors are. We've seen that he can be too aggressive in stand-up. We know that he needs to improve his wrestling. So, in this particular case, this is, as mentioned, a really good fight for him to go out, be patient, take his time, and work a smart sprawl and brawl game plan. Because even in fights where McDonald has run out and knocked guys out and looked good doing it, he's always breakneck aggressive, and he hasn't found that way, that gear that his brother's found, where you're taking your time, setting things up, you land a crushing strike, and then follow up in pounds. That's what really Michael McDonald has perfected in regards to his stand-up, and that's what Bad Brad still has to learn as well.
Look at the tail of the tape. Things pretty close to one another. Arciniega weighed in at 146.6, McDonald 144.4. The reach, the exact same. The big difference, the age. Bad Brad McDonald, 19 years of age, and King Arthur, 30 years old.
Based on that and as many times as we screwed it up on radio, they should probably retire
Bad
the
Brad
nickname.
It's hard to say, and then I've said it so many times with Blackburn that I have to have a get out of jail free card.
It's one of those nicknames that should just be retired for that very purpose.
It's better than Pitbull.
Pitbull, Diesel, all of those sorts.
Bad Brad McDonald in the cage here at Tachi Balance Fights 14. Let's go up to Joe Martinez. He can try out the nickname.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This next bout scheduled 3 rounds, featherweight action. A Central Valley showdown. Fresno taking on Oakdale. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter standing 5 feet 8 inches tall. Official weight 146.5 pounds. As a professional, his record stands 11 victories and 4 defeats. Fighting out of and representing Fresno, California, here is King Arthur Arciniega. And next his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the blue corner, a Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu artist standing 5 feet 8 inches tall. He weighed in 144.5 pounds and brings a record standing 10 victories and just 2 defeats. Fighting out of Oakdale, California, here is Bad Brad McDonald. Referee in charge, Jason McCoy.
Jason McCoy gets the assignment tonight here in this bantamweight fight between Brad McDonald and Art Arciniega.
Hands up, good head movement.
And we are underway. McDonald in the white with red trim. Arciniega takes the center of the cage. McDonald pawing with that jab early.
It's like in the gym, baby. Yeah, buddy.
Brad McDonald looks like he has a lot of nervous energy. Brad McDonald looks like he has a lot of nervous energy. Arciniega is a little bit more calm, poised.
Nice, Brad. Beautiful timing, baby. Beautiful timing. Hands up.
Both men feeling each other out on the feet early.
Arciniega looks very comfortable here. Looking to counter.
Arciniega is never really a guy that gets that far out of sorts. Even in fights where he's clearly in deep against the better fighter, he just takes his time and does his thing.
Watch when McDonald steps in. His chin is relatively high. Even though he's bending his knees, he's got his chin high up in the air.
Nice, Brad.
Oh.
Nice, Brad.
Got caught there again with the left hook by Arciniega.
And see, that's more of what we talked about. Brad McDonald throwing aggressive strikes, not bringing his chin back, not tucking it, not putting his hands up. This is exactly what got him hurt against Francisco Rivera. He's in much less danger against Arciniega. But this is still a mixed martial arts fighter that's throwing punches.
Nice, Brad. Perfect.
Yeah, his chin is really high. Does not tuck it in at all. He steps in. His feet kind of lead ahead of his head, and it results in...
He just got hit again. And a well-timed takedown from Arciniega, exactly what he needed to do.
Watch the triangle.
You see McDonald isolating the right arm of Arciniega. Not able to clear that leg though yet.
Arciniega should be driving forward with his weight. His head should be on McDonald's left side, driving forward, and there he goes. He gets his arm over his knee.
And this is where we've seen Brad McDonald really have problems in the past. Get aggressive, give up a takedown, and even though he's a good grappler, if he doesn't finish someone, he's getting ground and pounded or just suffering the fact that he's on his back, losing positionally.
Tried to kick Arciniega away, but Art came over the top with some punches. Now McDonald looking for an armbar. Arciniega wise to it and moves out of the way.
McDonald did a very good job using the up kicks to maintain distance and not get hit. Arciniega had to dive back into the guard but didn't connect with anything. McDonald now with double overhooks. Arciniega clears the right hand. He's looking to throw punches and elbows.
A little over the halfway point of this opening round between Art Arciniega and Bad Brad McDonald.
And even though I wouldn't say we really have like a clear winner in this round so far, Art Arciniega has done exactly what he needs to do. He took his time, set up the takedown just like he had to, and is now working exactly the kind of game plan he needs to maximize his advantages against Brad McDonald. I mean, that's exactly what you look for in an MMA fight.
I really like the way McDonald's trapping Arciniega's right arm. He's bringing his knee inside, blocking the punch with his shin, and isolating the arm. He's done it several times now. He's doing a very good job of it. There he goes. He's managing distance.
Trying to make some space here, stand up.
Arciniega's got to be careful not to get caught with an up kick on the way in.
That said, Art is on his knees the entire time, so an up kick from that position would be a kick to a down opponent.
No, I thought he had come up for a second there.
Not only that, though, I mean, McDonald was kicking him in the chest as well. Did a good job to, it still hurts to get up kicked in the chest, in the rib cage, in the, in the xiphoid process.
McDonald looking to strike, transition, move his hips, catch an armbar triangle on the scramble. Arciniega knows what he's doing, keeping his head relatively centered. That's what I'm talking about.
Trying to get that triangle.
Nice
Arciniega
job.
postures up, though, make sure he's in
McDonald,
no danger.
next time he does that, needs to do a better job of controlling Arciniega's head. Arciniega timed it very well. McDonald timed the catch of the arm very well. But you got to remember, as the guys start to get more and more slippery, it's going to be harder and harder for McDonald to set that triangle. Pivoting off the fence. Nice job by McDonald to get back up to his feet. Arciniega's got a guillotine. It looks tight.
45 seconds to work this.
If he pulls guard, he might be able to get it.
McDonald able to get out. Now back in space. We see these two men engage.
Arciniega doing a good job this round.
McDonald almost hulking up here.
McDonald did a good job there fighting the other arm, so Arciniega actually couldn't finish it. A lot of guys instinctively reach for that choking arm and let the guy grab his other hand, his other wrist, and finish. Good job by McDonald to defend the guillotine attempt, even though, unless something drastic happens, this round probably a lost cause for Bad Brad.
20 seconds remain.
Brad McDonald hasn't really put any offense together in this round. He's mostly been defending, and when he did open up, Arciniega got underneath him and took him down. Smart fight so far by Arciniega. Fought him very smart. Time.
There we go.
Good round for Arciniega.
Solid first round.
We talked off the top about precisely what Arciniega would need to do in order to beat Brad McDonald. Round one, he did exactly that. Took 90 seconds, felt his opponent out, and when McDonald started to get nervous, jittery, and made that first big commitment, Arciniega changed levels, boom, takedown.
Looking at the replay,
beautiful.
Javi, walk us through it.
Arciniega ducks right under, I believe, a left hand that McDonald threw. Kind of set it up with the right hand, through the right hand. McDonald countered back with his left and dove right underneath. Finished a double leg on the weak side. I like to call it the weak side. Jumped across, landed in the guard. Right now you have McDonald isolating the right arm of Arciniega, looking to catch a triangle. Arciniega took his time, didn't flurry, and eventually freed his arm and landed in top position and landed some good ground and pound.
Credit to Arciniega, too, for being composed, because McDonald's a guy who's in your face early in a fight, and that hasn't rattled Art at all.
It sounds really strange to say about a fighter who really hasn't made it to a big show, who is a relatively undistinguished local fighter, but Art Arciniega has composure in spades.
Incredible.
Watching this guy fight, you would never know if he was up 2 rounds or down 2 rounds. He just does his thing and expects you to come beat him.
Well, he's up around right now as we start the middle period of this bantamweight fight.
We're on the same wavelength. I'm very impressed with his poise, with his precision. He's doing everything right. He's very calm, very confident in what he's doing. Arciniega, I know he's going to use the strikes to set up the takedown again. Why not? Why change it if it's working? Using his jab. He's not really committing. He's moving. He's not getting hit. He's keeping his hands up, doing a good job. McDonald's really got to push him and create some offense here. He's moving around, but he's not really landing anything. He could start to kick at Arciniega's legs a little bit, but just being wary of his takedowns. He's got to do something different. He's having a hard time figuring out the range and getting inside.
And it looks like McDonald doesn't know really how to enter. He's thrown some combinations here. A couple of them landed, but it seems like there's a little bit of a riddle on how to actually put hands on Arciniega.
I mean, he's just not a guy that overextends or overcommits. He throws single individual strikes, not a whole lot of combos unless he's really in the driver's seat. He waits for you to make a mistake and tries to capitalize on it.
Yeah, he's fighting very smart. He rushed that takedown a little bit, kind of forced it a little bit.
It's going to be up to McDonald, though, to make him pay for trying to get those takedowns.
It's great that he fended off a takedown, but if he gets nervous over the next minute and starts to feel like he has to put a stamp on the round, Arciniega can just drop and put him over the way he did last time.
Left high kick landed for McDonald.
Arciniega very calm, not extending. McDonald starting to put some combinations together. Landed a right high kick. Arciniega, I'd like to see a little bit more output. He's dancing around, but he's not really doing a whole lot. He's kind of letting McDonald come to him. McDonald's a little bit weary of coming to him too aggressively because of the takedowns earlier in the first round. But he's starting to open up a little bit now. He's still not finding the range. He's still coming up short with his punches, but he's getting closer.
Arciniaga's output is really decreased in this round.
Yeah, he's waiting for McDonald to commit so he can get underneath him and take him down. Or he might be resting to try to maybe give this round up and come back and take the third round.
We've reached the halfway point of this middle period, the halfway point of this fight between Art Arciniega
takedown. He's going to
Brad
get it.
McDonald.
He's going to lock his hands.
Deep.
He's going to pull him off the
His
fence.
legs out.
He's got to pull him off the fence, bringing McDonald's back to the ground. McDonald attacking a guillotine. He's got the underhook. He put his own, it seemed like he almost put his own back to the ground.
I mean, I can't co-sign on that tactical move. There's no reason he couldn't have pushed away and tried to sneak up the fence.
Yeah, he would have had a better shot of trying to stand up and catching Arciniega in a transition with a guillotine or a triangle or something than trying to go to his back, having Arciniega essentially reset and now having to start from scratch again.
And what's terrible is knowing how both guys fight, this is probably going to be the next 2 minutes. Art Arciniega going up 2018. Good job by Brad to try to kick him away, get up, but McDonald still stuck there. Arciniega playing top. I mean,
Arciniega just wants to stay here. There's the triangle. Arciniega just looking to stay here, winning, try to win the round by top position control.
Go ahead.
I just don't see him taking any chances, just landing short shots when he can, not overextending, staying in good position, pulling out of submissions. Go ahead.
McDonald is flirted with that triangle, and it looks like he's moving his hips to try to get an angle for an armbar. Should he try to be less deliberate with it? Because it seems like Art can see it coming.
The problem is Art's putting a lot of good weight. It's making it hard for McDonald to swivel his hips, and now he's getting slippery. You can see how Arciniega's back is looking. It's gonna be a lot more difficult because of the slickness on Arciniega's back to keep his guard high. And then when he uses the fence to create an angle, Arciniega simply pulls away, takes his time. What he could do is create the angle, and as Arciniega pulls away, kind of do a back roll and try to get back up to his feet. It's almost like faking the arm lock and using it as a get-up.
They call him King Arthur. A better name might be The Economist. I mean, Art Arciniega does just enough to escape, keep his position, land some shots, rinse, repeat, rinse,
but
repeat.
That's a sign of a master.
Repeat.
That's a sign of a master because it's not about pulling out. You don't need a cannonball to kill a fly. All you need is a little fly swatter. And that's what he does. He does just enough to get out of things, does just enough work to win rounds.
McDonald trying to be aggressive with some elbow strikes to the top of Arciniega's head, but the judges are going to see this round again for Art Arciniega. He wasn't the aggressor early, but he got the takedown and did work from there.
This was a much closer round, but once he got the takedown, he actually landed good punches, some clean elbows there, was able to stave off. I mean, Brad McDonald threw up submission attempts, but they weren't threatening submission attempts. When Art Arciniega just yanked his arm out, he would punish them for them.
McDonald made a bad technical error that probably cost him the round by pulling guard, essentially. He was up against the fence. Everyone worked so hard to get to the position where he was at. He just kind of gave it up and went to his guard. Had a better shot of possibly winning the round or at least escaping bottom position by trying to stand up. Here we go, Arciniega getting the takedown, locking his hands. And instead of pushing his head down, he kind of attacks the guillotine, which is okay, but Arciniega backs out of the guillotine right here by pushing on the elbow. Boom, he got his head in the center, and then McDonald essentially pulls guard and gets himself stuck on the bottom of the fight. Arciniega from there uses his weight and balance to center his head on on McDonald's chest, and be very deliberate with his ground and pound.
We head to the final round in this featherweight contest between Brad McDonald and Art Arciniega. The brother of Brad, Michael, was in the corner, and after that round, Jordan said, "Don't worry, you won that round." Is there a sense of urgency in the corner of Brad McDonald? It doesn't seem to be.
They don't seem urgent, but his older brother, Justin Smitley, did just tell him, "You've been here before, you know how to do this." Brad McDonald really hasn't been here before in a mixed martial arts fight. It's feasible that some of those judges could have given him that round, but he definitely needs to be more aggressive and think more soberly about how to stay up on his feet in this round if he wants any chance to win.
Ooh, good body kick right there by McDonald. Definitely coming out more aggressive. He has to. But he's got to know when to be aggressive and when to be tentative and be a little bit more conservative, because Arciniega is going to wait for him to try to knock him out and then get underneath and take him down. Guaranteed.
We're just looking for a shot.
Arciniega's just setting up his takedowns, and McDonald's corner knows that.
He knows your stand-up's better. He knows
He
it.
can fake a knee. He can come in and throw a knee. He can throw a rear uppercut with his right hand. He's got to get something as Arciniega comes in. But Arciniega does a real good job, throws a few punches, hits him a few times, and really gets McDonald to commit to his counter, and that's the secret of him getting in on his legs.
This looks very similar to the
right
first
hand.
round, except for there, Arciniega
right
has
hand.
a very nice right hand to the face of McDonald.
When you get overly aggressive sometimes, like McDonald is, Arciniega waits for his opportunity and hits him. Sometimes that happens because all McDonald thinking right now is kill, kill, kill. He doesn't realize his hands are down, doesn't realize what he's doing, and Arciniega's taking it all in and waiting for the opportunity, as you can tell. He's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. You see what I'm saying? So because he's so composed, he's letting McDonald come to him, and it's essentially working against McDonald how aggressive he is.
You want to win. He wants a decision. You want
A
to
good
win.
option to maybe change it up is trying to take Arciniega down, position on him, and maybe try to tap him, because obviously what he's doing right now isn't working. What he did the first 2 rounds didn't work.
Brad, you got to go.
Possibly take him down. I'd be telling him forget the striking, take him down, try to catch him in a scramble.
Arciniega is inciting some boos here as he's been backing up this
But
entire round, but it seems to be working for
But
the
he's
most part.
landing.
Yeah.
As much as he's backing up, he's still landing more than McDonald is.
And as much as he's backing up, he's still in the driver's seat in this fight.
Yeah, he's still, and he won the first 2 rounds. He's hit him with the
Oh,
left hook.
that hurt him.
though.
McDonald needs to capitalize right here,
Ah,
get a finish,
he got
but he gets
taken
taken out
down.
for his
Oh,
troubles,
he's got the
trying to go for a
triangle.
triangle.
Get up.
So he hurt Arciniega. Arciniega went back to his wrestling, got the takedown.
In the span of about 3 seconds, you saw the best of Brad McDonald, you saw the worst of Brad McDonald. You saw him land a powerful, hard, aggressive punch, and you saw him dive right into a double leg kick.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not much you can do about that. You know
He
what
did
I mean?
that back roll that you called for,
He
Javi.
tried. He listened to me. He tried to finish. You can't, judge him for that. He did what he thought was right in the heat of the moment. He did a good job of getting back up to his feet. Arciniega didn't get the amount of rest that he wanted, being on top, but he's going back to circling and hitting the left hook off the circle. Guaranteed. Here it comes. There it is. Boom. He goes
Left
left hook,
hand there by
right
McDonald.
hand. He's circling left, stops. He goes left hook, right hand.
Brad
There
McDonald
it
has
is.
2 minutes to try to steal this fight away from Art Arciniega.
So Arciniega's game is so predictable. He's circling left, he stops, left hook, right hand, circles left. That's all he's doing. Jab.
There you go. There you go, Brad.
Arciniega's fighting very smart.
He's
Circling, moving.
Brad, you got to go now, Brad.
I wouldn't clinch with him because Arciniega's going to latch onto him and he's going to run out the clock essentially. He's got to do what he's doing, which is try to hit him with a hard shot. Arciniega counter with a hard straight right hand. McDonald firing back, hit him with a body shot, left hook to the head.
Art Arciniega has a chin. Those were hard,
Those
thudding
are very-
shots to the ribs and face.
Both guys took some hard shots. Arciniega back to his wrestling again. McDonald should get back up again.
McDonald had a half attempt there at a sprawl, but not able to save off the takedown.
He's got to open his guard.
It goes back to what we talked about before. It's not that Brad McDonald's aggressive. If he was aggressive and could stop the takedown, it would be fine. The problem is he's aggressive and can't stop it. So when he looks for that finish, I mean, he's still winning this round, but
Sure.
he's not going to be able to win the fight just sitting there on his back while Arciniega rides out the last minute, probably having won the first 2 rounds.
50 seconds remain in this final round between Brad McDonald and Art Arciniega. The second round was close. Maybe Brad stole it on a judge's scorecard. I don't really think that he did, but it'll be interesting if the judges give him this round, and we'll see how that middle frame is scored.
Arciniega's like a blanket on top. He does such a good job of staying low, throwing short shots, and controlling McDonald. McDonald did a good job of doing the back roll. Right now he should be looking to get up on his left elbow and putting his back to the ground, but I'm telling you, it's easier said than done. Arciniega's low and tight, driving his hips forward and crushing McDonald here. And two, it's slippery, and it's also, they're tired, so it's very difficult to do it. McDonald
Time
did
is
everything
going to
he
run out for
could,
Brad McDonald.
and Brad McDonald, I don't think he necessarily fought bad, except for that tactical error in the second round. But Arciniega, I think, just fought very well.
We've had some interesting refereeing. We'll see if we have some interesting judging tonight.
First time they've been called into use this evening, and certainly Art Arciniega not getting a warm reception from the fan base here in Lenore after a fairly tepid performance. But tepid or not, he did exactly what we talked about off the top. Plain and simple, if you're a fighter who might be more limited than your opposition, that's how you have to try to win. You can see here in the replay, he is not the stand-up fighter that Brad McDonald is, but he knew what brought him to the dance. Every time McDonald attacked, he set up a smart, well-timed takedown and was able to maximize it to possibly win a 29-28 decision here.
I mean, Brad McDonald did not fight bad. He did what he had to do. The only problem is he can't stop a takedown. That's his biggest Achilles heel. Maybe lowering his level, boxing from a lower posture, because he wasn't really throwing kicks, so it wasn't like he was getting his kicks caught. McDonald was doing a great job. He hit him with some hard shots. Arciniega fired back right there with a good right hand. McDonald did a really good job, but his biggest problem is just the fact that he can't stop the takedown of Arciniega. Arciniega circled, he would stop, he'd go left hook, right hand. That's all he was doing the whole time. And then looking for the takedown, looking for McDonald's overcommitment, and you could see how McDonald reacted to that takedown, shaking his head, knew that could have cost him that round for sure.
Art Arciniega appears to have done what he needed to do to get the decision, at least that's what we think cage side here in Lemoore, California. The judges are tabulating the results as we speak. We're going to see who won this fight between Bad Brad McDonald and Art Arciniega. The fight goes the full 15 minutes in Lemoore. Let's go to Joe Martinez for the official word.
Gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the scorecards, and for the excitement these 2 young men put up in the cage tonight, how about a big hand for both of them, please? Judge Jackie Dinkins scores the bout 29-28, Arciniega. Judge Ralph McKnight has it 29-28 for McDonald. And Judge Mark Lawley has it 29-28. Your winner by split decision, Fresno's own King Arthur Arciniega.
Arciniega's heart had to flutter. A split decision win for him over Brad McDonald.
Can we say something here? I know he's getting booed. Good sportsmanship by McDonald. I mean, he's obviously crushed and disappointed.
Right.
But